हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। तो आज के वीडियो में हम शुरू करने वाले हैं एनसीईआरटी क्लास 9 का ज्योग्राफी, जिसमें आज हम देखेंगे चैप्टर 1 जो कि है इंडिया साइज एंड लोकेशन। तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा आज का चैप्टर। इंडिया इज़ वन ऑफ द एंशिएंट सिविलाइजेशन इन द वर्ल्ड. It has achieved multifaceted socio-economic progress. During the last 5 decades, it has moved forward, displaying remarkable progress in the field of agriculture, industry, technology, and overall economic development. India has also contributed significantly to the making of world history. Location: India is a vast country lying entirely in the northern hemisphere. The mainland extends between latitudes 8° 4' north and 37° 6' north, and longitudes 68° 7' east and 97° 25' east. The Tropic of Cancer, 23° 30' north, divides the country into almost two equal parts. To the southeast and southwest of the mainland lie the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, respectively. Find out the extent of these groups of islands from your atlas. Do you know the southernmost point of the Indian Union, Indira Point, got submerged under the sea water in 2004 during the tsunami? Size: the landmass of India has an area of 3.28 million square kilometer. India's total area accounts for about 2.4% of the total geographical area of the world. From figure 1.2, it is clear that India is the 7th largest country of the world. India has a land boundary of about 15,200 km and total length of the coastline of the mainland, including Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, is 7,516.6 km. India is bounded by the Yangfold Mountains in the northwest, north, and northeast. South of about 22° north latitude, it begins to taper and extends towards the Indian Ocean, dividing it into two seas, the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal on its east. Look at figure 1.3 and note that the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of the mainland is about 30°. Despite this fact, the east-west extent appears to be smaller than the north-south extent. From Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, there is a time lag of 2 hours. Hence, time along the standard meridian of India, 82° 30' east, passing through Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh, is taken as the standard time for the whole country. The latitudinal extent influences the duration of day and night as one moves from south to north. India and the world. The Indian landmass has a central location between the East and the West Asia. India is a southward extension of the Asian continent. The Trans-Indian Ocean routes, which connect the countries of Europe in the west and the countries of East Asia, provide a strategic central location to India. Note that the Deccan Peninsula protrudes into the Indian Ocean, thus helping India to establish close contact with West Asia, Africa, and Europe from the western coast, and with Southeast and East Asia from the eastern coast. No other country has a long coastline on the Indian Ocean as India has, and indeed, it is India's eminent position in the Indian Ocean which justifies the naming of an ocean after it. Do you know, since the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869, India's distance from Europe has been reduced by 7,000 km. India's contacts with the world have continued through ages, but her relationship through the land routes are much older than her maritime contacts. The various passes across the mountains in the north have provided passages to the ancient travelers, while the oceans restricted such interaction for a long time. These routes have contributed in the exchange of ideas and commodities since ancient times. The ideas of Upanishads and the Ramayana, the stories of Panchatantra, the Indian numerals, and the decimal system thus could reach many parts of the world. The spices, muslin, and other merchandise were taken from India to different countries. On the other hand, the influence of Greek sculpture and the architectural styles of dome and minarets from West Asia can be seen in different parts of our country. India's neighbor. India occupies an important strategic position in South Asia. India has 28 states and 9 union territories. India shares its land boundaries with Pakistan and Afghanistan in the northwest, China or Tibet, Nepal and Bhutan in the north, and Myanmar and Bangladesh in the east. Our southern neighbors across the sea consist of two island countries, namely Sri Lanka and Maldives. Sri Lanka is separated from India by a narrow channel of sea formed by the Palk Strait and the Gulf of Mannar, while Maldives Islands are situated to the south of the Lakshadweep Islands. Do you know, before 1947 there were two types of states in India, the provinces and the princely states. Provinces were ruled directly by British officials who were appointed by the Viceroy. Princely states were ruled by local hereditary rulers who acknowledged sovereignty in return for local autonomy. India has strong geographical and historical links with her neighbors. Look at the physical map of Asia in your atlas and note how India stands apart from the rest of Asia. Do you know School Bhuvan is a portal providing map-based learning to bring awareness among the students about the country's natural resources, environment and their role in sustainable development. It is an initiative of Bhuvan, NRSC or ISRO based on NCERT syllabus. तो यह है इस चैप्टर का एक्सरसाइज। तो क्योंकि ये एक छोटा सा चैप्टर था तो ये कंप्लीट हो चुका है, इसलिए अब हम शुरू करेंगे चैप्टर 2 जो कि है फिजिकल फीचर्स ऑफ इंडिया। तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा आज का चैप्टर। यू हैव ऑलरेडी लर्नड अर्लियर दैट इंडिया इज़ अ वास्ट कंट्री विद वेराइड लैंड फॉर्म्स. What kind of terrain do you live in? If you live in the plains, you are familiar with the vast stretches of plain land. In contrast, if you live in hilly region, the rugged terrain with mountains and valleys are common features. In fact, our country has practically all major physical features of the earth. That means mountains, plains, deserts, plateaus, and islands. The land of India displays great physical variation. Geologically, the peninsular plateau constitutes one of the ancient landmasses on the Earth's surface. It was supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks. The Himalayas and the northern plains are the most recent landforms. From the viewpoint of geology, Himalayan mountains form an unstable zone. The whole mountain system of Himalaya represents a very youthful topography with high peaks, deep valleys, and fast-flowing rivers. The northern plains are formed of alluvial deposits. The peninsular plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with gently rising hills and wide valleys. Major physiographic divisions. The physical feature of India can be grouped under the following physiographic divisions. First, the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and the islands. The Himalayan mountains. The Himalayas, geologically young and structurally fold mountains, stretch over the northern borders of India. These mountain ranges run in a west-east direction from the Indus to the Brahmaputra. The Himalayas represent the loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world. They form an arc which covers a distance of about 2,400 km. Their width varies from 400 km in Kashmir to 150 km in Arunachal Pradesh. The altitudinal variations are greater in the eastern half than those in the western half. The Himalaya consists of 3 parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent. A number of valleys lies between these ranges. The northernmost range is known as the Great or Inner Himalaya or the Himadri. It is the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peaks with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains all prominent Himalayan peaks. The folds of the Great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature. The core of this part of Himalayas is composed of granite. It is perennially snowbound and a number of glaciers descend from this range. The range lying to the south of the Himadri forms the most rugged mountain system and is known as Himachal or Lesser Himalaya. The ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. The altitude varies between 3,700 and 4,500 meters and the average width is of 50 km. While the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range, the Dholadhar and the Mahabharat ranges are also prominent ones. This range consists of famous valley of Kashmir, the Kangra and the Kullu valley in Himachal Pradesh. This region is well known for its hill stations. The outermost range of the Himalayas is called the Shivaliks. They extend over a width of 10 to 50 km and have an altitude varying between 900 and 1100 meters. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges located further north. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. The longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks are known as dunes. Dehradun, Kotli Dune and Patli Dune are some of the well-known dunes. Beside the longitudinal divisions, the Himalayas have been divided on the basis of regions from west to east. These divisions have been demarcated by river valleys. For example, the part of Himalayas lying between Indus and Satluj has been traditionally known as Punjab Himalaya, but it is also known regionally as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from west to east respectively. The part of the Himalayas lying between Satluj and Kali rivers is known as Kumaon Himalayas. The Kali and Tista rivers demarcate the Nepal Himalayas, and the part lying between Tista and Dihang rivers is known as Assam Himalayas. There are regional names also in these broad categories. Find out some regional names of the Himalayas. The Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. Beyond the Dihang Gorge, the Himalayas bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundary of India. They are known as the Purvachal or the Eastern Himalayas and mountains. These hills running through the northeastern states are mostly composed of strong sandstones, which are sedimentary rocks. Covered with dense forests, they mostly run as parallel ranges and valleys. The Purvachal comprises the Patkai Hills, the Naga Hills, the Manipur Hills, and the Mizo Hills. The Northern Plains. The Northern Plain has been formed by the interplay of the three major river systems, namely the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra, along with their tributaries. This plain is formed of alluvial soil. The deposition of alluvium in a vast basin lying at the foothills of the Himalaya over millions of years formed this fertile plain. It spreads over an area of 7 lakh square kilometers. The plain being about 2,400 km long and 240 to 320 km broad is a densely populated physiographic division. With a rich soil cover combined with adequate water supply and favorable climate, it is agriculturally a productive part of India. The rivers coming from northern mountains are involved in depositional work. In the lower course, due to a gentle slope, the velocity of the river decreases, which results in the formation of riverine islands. Do you know Majuli in the Brahmaputra river is the largest inhabited riverine island in the world? The rivers in the lower course split into numerous channels due to the deposition of silt. These channels are known as distributaries. The northern plain is broadly divided into three sections. The western part of the northern plain is referred to as the Punjab Plains, formed by the Indus and its tributaries. The larger part of this plain lies in Pakistan. The Indus and its tributaries, the Jhelum, the Chenab, the Ravi, the Beas, and the Satluj, originate in the Himalaya. This section of the plain is dominated by the Doabs. Do you know Doab is made up of two words, Do meaning two and Ab meaning water. Similarly, Punjab is also made up of two words, Panj meaning five and Ab meaning water. The Ganga plain extends between Ghagar and Tista rivers. It is spread over the states of North India, Haryana, Delhi, UP, Bihar, partly Jharkhand and West Bengal to its east. Particularly in Assam lies the Brahmaputra plain. The northern plains are generally described as flat land with no variations in its relief. It is not true. These vast plains also have diverse relief features. According to the variation in relief features, the northern plains can be divided into four regions. The rivers, after descending from the mountains, deposit pebbles in a narrow belt of about 8 to 16 km in width, lying parallel to the slopes of the Sibalics. It is known as Bhabar. All the streams disappear in this Bhabar belt. South of this belt, the streams and rivers re-emerge and create a wet, swampy and marshy region known as Terai. This was a thickly forested region full of wildlife. The forests have been cleared to create agricultural land and to settle migrants from Pakistan after partition. Located Dulfa National Park in this region. The largest part of the northern plain is formed of older alluvium. It lies above the floodplains of the rivers and presents a terrace-like feature. This part is known as Bhangar. The soil in this region contains calcareous deposits, locally known as Kankar. The newer, younger deposits of the floodplains are called Khadar. They are renewed almost every year and so are fertile, thus ideal for intensive agriculture. The Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau is a tableland composed of the old crystalline, igneous, and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land and thus making it a part of the oldest landmass. The plateau has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills. This plateau consists of two broad divisions, namely the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. The part of the Peninsular Plateau lying to the north of the Narmada River, covering a major area of the Malwa Plateau, is known as the Central Highlands. The Vindhyan Range is bounded by the Satpura Range on the south and the Aravallis on the northwest. The further westward extension gradually merges with the sandy and rocky desert of Rajasthan. The flow of the rivers draining this region, namely the Jambal, the Sindh, the Betwa, and the Ken, is from southwest to northeast, thus indicating the slope. The Central Highlands are wider in the west but narrower in the east. The eastward extension of this plateau are locally known as the Bundelkhand and Bagelkhand. The Chota Nagpur Plateau marks the further eastward extension drained by the Damodar River. The Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. The Satpura Range flanks its broad base in the north, while the Mahadev, the Kaimur Hills, and the Maikal Range form its eastern extensions. Locate these hills and ranges in the physical map of India. The Deccan Plateau is higher in the west and slopes gently eastward. An extension of the plateau is also visible in the northeast, locally known as the Meghalaya Karbi Anglong Plateau and North Kachar Hills. It is separated by a fault from the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Three prominent hill ranges from the west to east are the Garo, the Khasi, and the Jaintia Hills. The Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats mark the western and the eastern edges of the Deccan Plateau respectively. Western Ghats lie parallel to the western coast. They are continuous and can be crossed through passes only. Locate the Thai, Bhor, and Pal Ghats in the physical map of India. The Western Ghats are higher than Eastern Ghats. Their average elevation is 900 to 1600 meters as against 600 meters of the Eastern Ghats. The Eastern Ghats stretch from the Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiris in the south. The Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and irregular and dissected by rivers draining into the Bay of Bengal. The Western Ghats cause orographic rain by facing the rain-bearing moist winds to rise along the western slopes of the Ghats. The Western Ghats are known by different local names. The height of the Western Ghats progressively increases from north to south. The highest peaks include the Anaimudi 2695 meters and the Doda Beta 2637 meters. Mahendragiri 1500 meters is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats. Sebroi Hills and the Javedi Hills are located on the southeast of the Eastern Ghats. Locate the famous hill station of Udagamandalam, popularly known as Uti and Kodaikanal. One of the distinct features of the Peninsular Plateau is the black soil area, known as Deccan Trough. This is of volcanic origin, hence the rocks are igneous. Actually, these rocks have denuded over time and are responsible for the formation of black soil. The Aravalli Hills lie on the western and northwestern margins of the peninsular plateau. These are highly eroded hills and are found as broken hills. They extend from Gujarat to Delhi in a southwest northeast direction. The Indian Desert. The Indian Desert lies towards the western margins of the Aravalli Hills. It is an undulating sandy plain covered with sand dunes. This region receives very low rainfall below 150 mm per year. It has arid climate with low vegetation cover. Streams appear during the rainy season. Soon after they disappear into the sand as they do not have enough water to reach the sea. Luni is the only large river in this region. Burkhan's crescent-shaped dunes cover the larger area, but longitudinal dunes become more prominent near the Indo-Pakistan boundary. If you visit Jaisalmer, you may go to see a group of birds. The coastal plains. The peninsular plateau is flanked by stretches of narrow coastal strips running along the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal on the east. The western coast, sandwiched between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea, is a narrow plain. It consists of three sections. The northern part of the coast is called the Konkan, Mumbai to Goa. The central stretch is called the Kannad Plain, while the southern stretch is referred to as the Malabar coast. The plains along the Bay of Bengal are wide and level. In the northern part, it is referred to as the northern circle, while the southern part is known as the Coromandel coast. Large rivers such as the Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna, and the Kaveri have formed extensive delta on this coast. Lake Chilika is an important feature along the eastern coast. Do you know the Chilika Lake is the largest saltwater lake in India? It lies in the state of Odisha to the south of the Mahanadi Delta. The islands. You have already seen that India has a vast mainland. Besides this, the country has two groups of islands. Can you identify these island groups? Look at the Lakshadweep Island group lying close to the Malabar coast of Kerala. This group of islands is composed of small coral islands. Earlier they were known as Lakshadweep, Minico, and Ammandive. In 1973, these were named as Lakshadweep. It covers a small area of 32 square kilometers. Kavaratti Island is the administrative headquarters of Lakshadweep. This island group has great diversity of flora and fauna. The Piti Island, which is uninhabited, has a bird sanctuary. Corals. Coral polyps are short-lived microscopic organisms which live in colonies. They flourish in shallow, mud-free and warm waters. They secrete calcium carbonate. The coral secretion and the skeletons form coral deposits in the form of reefs. They are mainly of three kinds: barrier reef, fringing reef, and atolls. The Great Barrier Reef of Australia is a good example of the first kind of coral reefs. Atolls are circular or horseshoe-shaped coral reefs. Now you see the elongated chain of islands located in the Bay of Bengal extending from north to south. These are Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They are bigger in size and are more numerous and scattered. The entire group of islands is divided into two broad categories: the Andaman in the north and the Nicobar in the south. It is believed that these islands are an elevated portion of submarine mountains. These island groups are of great strategic importance for the country. There is a great diversity of flora and fauna in this group of islands too. These islands lie close to equator and experience equatorial climate and has thick forest cover. Do you know India's only active volcano is found on Barren Island in Andaman and Nicobar group of islands? A detailed account of the different physiographic units highlights the unique features of each range. It would, however, be clear that each region complements the other and makes the country richer in its natural resources. The mountains are the major sources of water and forest wealth. Now, the northern plains are the granaries of the country. They provide the base for early civilization. The plateau is a storehouse of minerals which has played a crucial role in the industrialization of the country. The coastal region and island groups provide sites for fishing and port activities. Thus, the diverse physical features of the land have immense future possibilities of development. तो ये है इसका एक्सरसाइज और इसी के साथ हमारा सेकेंड चैप्टर भी कंप्लीट हो चुका है। तो आज के वीडियो में हमने फर्स्ट और सेकेंड चैप्टर कंप्लीट कर लिया है। तो अगर आप चैनल पर नए हैं तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और नोटिफिकेशन आइकन पर क्लिक कर दीजिए ताकि आपको सारे वीडियोस के अपडेट्स मिल सके। और अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो लाइक कर दीजिए, साथ ही अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर कीजिए ताकि उन्हें भी हेल्प हो सके। तो हमारा आज का वीडियो यहीं तक था। थैंक यू, थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग।